Ready as I'm going to be. So, welcome to the Musical Mamas March meeting, our very first meeting online. Um, I'm Cinder Sparks, founder of Musical Mamas, and it gives me great pleasure to be able to host an online meeting where we can interact and carry on with some inspiration that is so needed right now. Great thanks to our presenter, Rusti and Ambika Devi, and I really am looking forward to this meeting, just to have a nice opportunity for a bit of distraction and future forward thinking about ourselves and where we're going to be projecting our energies in the next little while on a very positive level, with creating our bios. So we're going to begin with Rusty's presentation, One Pitch Away, which I think is an ingenious title because not only is it about pitch for connecting with music, right? Because when you want to reach a certain pitch, it's certainly all connective there, and that's what we need to do to be able to present ourselves and promote ourselves. And then following Rusty's presentation, we'll go to Ambika, which we'll see how the stars and ourselves, make us shine and how we can work that to our advantage. So more people from Musical Mamas may join in as they can. And I'm really welcome to have Jackie and Kelly joining us here. This is pretty darn cool. So, we'll be also recording this as you know, and be able to share that with our members and interested members in going forward. And we even have a prize tonight because we're going to have a draw. We'll connect with Rusty on the next 24 hours and make sure everyone has an opportunity to view the recording and to fill out a quick questionnaire, and then you'll be entered into that draw and you can win personal bio session with Rusty. And I had one and it was fantastic, and certainly has given me great food for thought, got me right on the trail that I needed to be to start thinking in the third person, which was out there. So let's take it away. So I will hand this over now to Rusty. Woohoo! Yay!
Thank you, Cinder. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to meet with you and talk about the bio and how there is an art to creating a bio. And most people, when they look at me, they would never think of the word shy. And let me tell you, shy is the last word I think of when I look in the mirror. That's not a word that ever comes to, self-identify. However, we all go through moments of possible lack of confidence or shyness because self-promotion is not taught. In Australia, they talk about the tall poppy. You got to cut them down size. And here it's like too big for your britches, or gotta cut you down too. And so that is really part of what happens here for us in any society. So and people in England are excessively modest, as Ambika and I know very well from having been in a workshop recently with two English people that we thought were fantastic, but it was like pulling teeth to get them to speak and to accept their brilliance. And so we are here tonight to help you find your brilliance on the page, whether that's a website, whether you're sending something to a potential client, and help you shine. So there is a story that one of my friends says is that you are trying to fit two lives into one. So I'm always out there. But what a lot of people don't know is that I often will sit on my couch and stare at my four walls when I need some time to just recollect myself. So some of those times when you are in charge of the world and you're on top of the world, that's the time to write your bio, not when you're the champion of avoiding stepping on Cheerios with your new stockings before you go to present yourself to a new potential client. So those are the times when our confidence is high. Then you grab a piece of paper and a pen or your phone and your notes or open up a file on your computer and start writing. So Cinder was mentioning the third person. Yes, because writing in the third person allows other people to see you as less tall poppy, as less too big for your britches, and more just, oh, I want to hear more about this person. So writing in the third person is important. So for those of you attending tonight, grab your pens and paper. This is going to be an interactive session. And for those of you watching later, you will want to grab a pen and paper, or again, your notes, and do this few little exercises. I'm only going to give about a minute for each one because the idea is to write quick and fast. So the first one is really easy. How about 15 seconds? You write your name and you go Cinder Sparks or Kelly or Jackie. And then you'll want to have possibly, if you have a certificate from a music school or something, we're not necessarily going to use that because we don't want to clog up a bio with a whole bunch of certifications, but it's a great way to get started. And that Cinder Sparks attended the Juilliard, the one name that I know of in musician art performing school. And then you're going to keep in mind that most bios, when we're like, you know how Twitter has only 140 characters, but on your websites and your personal social media, you have room for more, but still it's wise to stay under 100 words and to start by aiming for 50 words and let yourself go a little over. Most of the places that you'll be advertising yourselves or promoting yourselves, you will have room for more, but there are places that will expect you to only have 50. And that is quite the hard little space to compress yourself in. Out of interest, we should probably look at Ambika's bio because she has so much to say, and Ambika's bio is probably close to 200 words, but it's fun to read. And that's what I want to talk about tonight too, is the fun and bringing a little bit of comedic aspect to your bio, because bio's the old formula of Jackie went to school here and learned classical piano, and then, you know, in a fit of inspiration, she went to clown school, and now, you know, brings in some clowning to her piano playing or piano performances. So not that that's exactly what I'd say you write, Jackie. However, bringing a little bit of humor in can really thank you for that facial expression, Jackie. Bringing a little bit of humor into your bio can really make you come alive. And as performers, you want people to know that you're more than words on a piece of paper. So I'll use one of my crazy little examples for my bio. And also, like, we all know that bios are important, but first impressions, you don't get a second chance to make that first impression. Your bio appears for you in your absence, because sometimes people will look you up, especially if somebody else has referred you. Then they may go and look you up first before they ever contact you, before you ever even get to speak a word to them. So your bio is free advertising. It's going to be seen by multiple readers, audience. When your words resonate with a potential audience, they will look for more of you and they'll spread that word to others. So using myself for one example, where I'm going to be a little bit quirky, a little bit off the wall, and a little bit over 50 words, is Rusti Lehay, WordQuest coaching founder, specializes in helping speakers, coaches, and professionals to craft their writing and own their journey. She regularly endures paper cuts from over 3,000 pages of scribblings. Rising above many challenges herself, Rusti's motivational message is shared to empower women and writers alike to animate their words on pages and stages, building their stories into wild successes. So would I go with that one, or do I reveal family secrets and be silly and show my wordy addiction? It depends on what space you have. It depends on the space. So why do you need to have a bio? Because some people, like we were saying, are going to look at that first before they ever talk to you. The bio is your business card on steroids, because a business card, you know, is this small, but a business card that speaks and promotes the emotion or a little bit about what you're like, to say, like, maybe you provide a little bit of comic relief between sets or between songs so that people get more engaged. Maybe you can say in your bio that from the moment our first notes hit the speakers, your people are up and dancing, if that's what you're doing. So you'll want to be looking at what kind of genre or where are you selling yourself to? Are you selling yourself to weddings? Are you selling yourself to bar mitzvahs? Are you selling yourself to funerals? Because there are funeral singers, they're in demand, and there is the transition choir that is people people who join them to help people pass from this stage of life to their next part of existence. If you believe in that, I'm showing some of my colors. I do. So again, with only 50 to 75 words, sometimes we recommend that you don't waste time on or extra word count on multiple designations. These can be inferred on how you write about and what your style is. So now the next little assignment, that's about 30 seconds as well, is describe your expertise, your musical abilities in 3 words, because we're going to use those 3 words to shape your bio. So 30 seconds, I'll put my timer on, and 3 words. All right, go. All right. So anybody care to share their 3 words, please? Unmute yourself with your mouse on the unmute, and please share your 3 words that you came up with. Jackie, I'll unmute you. There we go.
Okay, 3 words I have are broad, familiarity, and memories.
Broad, familiar, and memories. Ah. So broad, I might have a quirky mind, but it went to I'm a classy broad, but broad.
Yeah, broad as in no, wide range.
Okay, broad.
I know when I was writing it, I was thinking of Cinder as the other one. Yeah.
Broad, memories, and familiar.
Yes.
Okay, those are really interesting words to use. I'm going to keep those in mind then as I'm thinking about your potential bio and what you're going to do with that. Kelly, can you unmute and share what 3 words you have?
I used vocalist, ukulele, and connection.
Oh, good one. Okay, connection. That's a great, powerful word for that, because we want to, when we're performing, we want to have a connection with our audience. All right, and Cinder, what did you do?
Well, I don't know. Under the gun there, I did kind of maybe lose the focus of the lesson a little bit, but I couldn't help it. I always thinking themes, and maybe I've been around the fire theme a little bit long, but I wrote fire it up and heat of passion. But I mean, they're not related words. I mean, they're related words like a sentence, and it should have been just 3 separate words.
Okay.
So,
there's no right or wrong way to do these. If that was a way to get you started in 3 words, and so you had 3 words and 2 phrases.
I think I got stuck on being funny.
Yeah. Well, having experienced a house fire, and definitely going to be part of your lexicon and some of your.
You just got to embrace it, you know. Just, yeah.
Ambika, did you want to join in about 3 words how you describe yourself?
Oh, well, you're going to be reading one of my bios later, so I'd like to just give the extra time to everybody.
Okay.
So, but if I may chime in on Jackie, versatile is a word perhaps that could augment the idea of broad.
Versatile, yeah. Yeah, because then that has the one meaning, and broad is...
I was with you on broad, a broad.
Yeah, I can cover your smile. You've got a great sense of humor, Jackie. I'm very grateful for that.
Well, we sort of kind of embrace that word, I think, in some aspects as females, to a certain degree. I know the Musical Mamas, our podcast is called the Broadcast.
Yeah.
You know, but just playing on the word, having a dual kind of slang meaning for female, for sure. It seems, even though what you're saying, you know, reaching or maybe traveled more, we might think abroad, but in a different aspect. But English is beautiful, it has so many options.
It does. It really does. All right, great. Well, thank you for humoring me with that exercise
So,
then.
so a broadcast?
Yeah.
Oh, you're good. The wordplay, wordplay is going to really help you with your bio. So don't be afraid to play and do all that because, I go through every time I need a different bio, the one that I've already created, I spend a fair bit of time on it. So allow yourself that, allow yourself those extra visions. You're going to get the worksheet that I have. In fact, I can share the screen and show that too, but I like seeing all of your faces right now. So we'll continue for a bit without looking at the screen. And then we want to stay away from marketing speak when we're doing our bio and write in terms that suit your style. So example, someone writing in marketing speak might say magnetic musician, but a better approach in stylistic terms could be engaging or interactive musician, because depending on what your crowd or audience is looking for, because the producer or who's hiring you is your boss and what they need. And so Ambika and I know this very well from one of our trainers, is that when a producer or a client says, do you do this? You go, no problem. This is always the answer for everything they have, no problem. And so the bride is notoriously picky, no problem. We have a very versatile, broad, set of songs. We can play and shift gears at any time, so type thing.
Right. When a bride hands you some music or tells you they want a song at their wedding, the answer is absolutely. Just so you know, musical mamas, I used to work as a professional musician for years.
Yes, I wanted to mention that.
I did my share of weddings. And brides will definitely teach you how to keep protocol and keep your cool and say absolutely no problem. And yes, they will ask for obscure things and we just have to learn to roll with it. It is okay though to ask them to pay for the sheet music if you have to learn something that's just totally out of your repertoire. I just know that from experience. But what Rusty was saying about modifying and morphing, you're going to end up with numerous versions of your bio. You'll have one that's kind of your core, but then with each new person, like the word magnetic came up earlier, Rusty, and a club that maybe is changing their format or looking to pull in more people, then magnetic might be a good word because that would speak to the psyche of of the proprietor and say, this person's going to attract people to my place. So this.
Right.
That's awesome. Thank you for bringing it up, because the words like that we choose, words are so powerful. Like Cinder, you were mentioning how English is just so wonderful with all the different meanings, but magnetic personality, but magnetic musician has the alliteration, but then what? Ambika, that's brilliant, because like a club, for a prospective client that's a club, if they're brand new and they want to be drawing in a local and loyal clientele, magnetic is a great word to have in your bio. Magnetic is a great word also then to be able to tell them that you have a regular following. You have a following, because now with publishers, when you're writing a book, they want you to have your own mailing list. They want you to do a lot of your own marketing. So this is a great way to be able to sell yourself again too, and put in your bio that if you're doing that kind of selling yourself to a venue that wants to know that, will definitely use that in your bio. So describe what you do. Now, how do you connect with your intended audience? Let's just maybe have some kind of popcorn shouting out at this time as to how do you connect with your intended audience? And maybe Cinder, I'm going to start with you. Like, when you were a telegram musician, and that required a lot of versatility. So how did you connect with somebody like right off the bat as soon as they opened the door?
Well, a lot of it was based on the element of surprise, of course. And then I would gauge my interaction spontaneously with how the situation presented. And so much of the telegram, other than certain aspects of it, you can only plan so much for. So there was one fellow that really got quite closed up and was horrified that he was having a telegram given to him. And his eyes even welled up a little bit and said, "Why are you doing this to me?" to his fellow office workers. And because the person that was getting the telegram was obviously not very wanting of that telegram, I tempered my act, which was a Maryland, because I sensed that he had personal boundary issues, and I didn't want to upset the person that the telegram was for. And so, like, I modified what I would normally do to try and suit the situation with being a little less flirty. No, I didn't touch his body, you know, which, you know, usually it's okay to do a little pat on the shoulder, because nothing was ever weird that way with the Maryland. But you'd be singing them happy birthday like the president, so you'd be a little flirty.
Yeah.
But I just kind of maybe went a bit more modest Maryland for that one, for an example. And I would certainly, I found what was most challenging with marketing as a telegram person was explaining what a telegram was, because there's certainly a gap there in generation where they have no idea what you're selling them. So you really have to be descriptive, that it's an element of surprise, some special treat. There was another one I was doing that was a lot of fun, was a Star Trek telegram. And that was, you know, marketed towards, do you got a Trekkie that it's hard to buy for? Send them a telegram.
Oh, that's awesome. Cinder, thank you. Now, the word you used, modesty, that's really great, because there are, you know, themes things or mystery dinners, or we had, I was the chair of the Stony Plain Library Friends, the Friends Society, and we had themed fundraiser events where we would bring in musicians, and we actually had a Marilyn there. And so again, you could be using that word in your bio, saying I have a repertoire of being, you know, a singing telegram for a track. You wouldn't use these words, I'm not doing very well thinking out loud, but or I can be a modest Marilyn Monroe at your event, because maybe it's a family event. So that would be where you would use the word modest for that kind of selling yourself. Shauna, we were talking earlier about what 3 words you would use to describe yourself, because those 3 words are going to maybe, and your expertise of what kind of musician you are, so that then we would use those 3 words to frame the rest of your full sentences on what you want your bio to be. And Ambika mentioned, I believe before you were able to join us, that your bio is that, what did you say, Ambika? I just had it in my head and then I lost it, about
I'm not exactly sure which part you're asking me about.
Oh, it was brilliant. Well, I might have to watch the replay for that. I had it in my head and then it just went off out of my head.
So it had to do with what, Rusty?
I think it had to do with the 3 words and how, oh yeah, you were saying that we would have multiple bios for different
Oh, multiple bios, yeah.
Yes, because you're going to have one core bio, but then for each audience, each prospective client, you're going to then come up with one that is specific to them. And
right, and you could also look at the keywords that way, Rusty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could assess the situation of who your client is, and your client is the one who's paying you.
Right.
Whoever's giving you the money. So if you are selling tickets to an audience yourself, then your client is the audience. So this is really key, especially for performers, to understand this. If you are selling the tickets to the audience, each audience member is your client. If a club owner is hiring you and they're the one paying you, that's your client. So you've got to please that person. Yes, the audience is part of it, but it's really important that we relate in that way.
Yes. Great. So Shauna, what 3 words would you use as the core 3 words to describe your expertise and your musical talents that you want to sell?
I don't even know.
Well, thinking, we were joking about how Jackie had broad, and I admitted that my mind went to classy broad, but she meant versatile. Memories and familiar. And Kelly had vocalist, ukulele, and connection. Connection is a great word in a bio, considering that you're musicians and you want to be able to connect with your audience. That connection you make with your audience makes everybody a little bit more at ease. And then Cinder had phrases, 3-word phrases: fire it up and heat of passion. So there's no right or wrong way to respond to this.
I need to think about that.
Okay, you think about that, and then after, you're definitely, everybody's going to get the handouts on that. So I've got a few more minutes, and then Ambika's going to take over with the astrology. So let's talk about a little bit about what do you get out of a bio? Well, you possibly get higher paying gigs, right? Who doesn't want a higher paying gig? Who doesn't want to get promoted and known by more people and more potential audiences out there? And then the cross promotion too, like how do you get yourself out there? How do you get your bio that's on a page or on your social media out there to potential clients and prospects? And one of the nifty ways to do that is for the musical mamas to cross promote. If Shauna, you're into classical and Cinder is into jazz, then you're not going to be competing for the same audiences. So for Cinder to phone up and say, I hear that you're looking for a classical musician, or that you have classical musicians in for these events that you have, I know a great musician that really you must have in, and Shauna's back, and here's her contact information. Because cross-promoting always sounds better. What you missed at the first part is that bios, it's very difficult to write about ourselves in glowing terms, because we've all been taught that we're too big for our britches, or in Australia it's tall poppy syndrome, where they say, gotta cut you down to size, mate. So it's hard to promote ourselves, but it's so much easier to promote each other. So buddy up with another musical mama and cross promote yourselves. That's one of the ways you can do that. Now, also, there are very few people doing video pitches. Like, how many of us are really comfortable watching ourselves on the video or doing a Facebook Live when we're holding our phone this close? Do we like the way we look? Do we like the way our mouth moves? Do we like the way our voice sounds? Some of us will have difficulties with that. But yet, very few people are video pitching. And what are we if we're not performers? You know, as speakers, Ambika and I are performers. So to video pitch and to put your bio in a video, and your musical mamas, perform it, make a song out of it. And you're going to style that song in what you're wanting to sell, the style of music that you love performing, that makes you shine on the stage. That's the way you want to perform your bio. So that's another way that you can promote that. And then with that cross promotion, doesn't necessarily mean phone calls, but to cross promote, every time you put something out there, make sure that you're tagging your friends, or that you let them know, please go tag this and share this, hashtag this somewhere else, spread it out there so that you get more mileage for every post that you have. Create your own hashtags that are going to be part of yours, so that people who are looking for that, you know, women in music, and you know, that would be one of your hashtags, women in music. One of your hashtags might be an old-fashioned happy birthday telegram, you know, and stuff. If you still wanted to do that, you probably still have the costumes, right? Nod your head. No, you don't. Oh, the fire. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Sing your bio, perform it, do each other's bios. You're performers, but follow your intuition. If it feels right, like let's say you're at a party, a networking party, and you know, just like stand still for a while, kind of feel it, take some deep breaths, look around the room in a very calm way, not like you're looking at a lion in an African bush, but you're looking around the room in a very calm way, and pick out that one person that you kind of feel your body lean towards. You know, there's a way of body testing, and for me, a yes is when my body leans forward, and no is when it leans backward. Pick out that one person and go and speak to them and let them know that you're a musician. They might have a cousin that is looking for somebody for a gig somewhere. They might be looking for something somewhere. Never miss an opportunity to market yourself in ways that don't feel like marketing. And it's called inception marketing, to sell without selling. Because, you know, ask somebody what their biggest passion is, and they're going to turn around and ask you what your passion is. And I'm betting pretty close to betting, like really confident and winning lotto ticket, that all of you are passionate about music. So go with that and trust that, and don't be afraid to promote yourselves in ways that, you know, are the subtle, you know, like I'm passionate about music and I perform, and you know, if anything else like happen, if there were like 10 things that I love doing and I could only do one of them, it would be music. that is selling yourself without selling, because it's inviting them to also think about what 10 things do they like doing, they're passionate about doing. But if they could only do one and money was no object, what one would they choose over all the others? And that's exactly how I did the bio session with Cinder too, is I had her write down 8 things I wanted it to do to be a little bit more efficient. 8 things. And then I said, okay, now if you could only do 4, and money's no object, money's no problem, everything there is possible for you to do. If you'd only do 4, which 4 would they be? And I eventually cut her back down to 2, but I kept the top 4 in her bio, but I promoted the top 2 the most. So this is a really good way to approach writing your bio, is to challenge yourself. What are your top ways of performing that you absolutely love? And then get yourself to cut it down and cut it down. And know that you don't, they're not cut out forever, but it's a really good way to narrow down how you want your bio to be. So now the what if you don't write a bio? Well, we're all Canadian except for Ambika, but she might have even heard this one. Have you heard this one? Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yes, I have heard that, and not completely turned off or ignorant to ice hockey.
For a Floridian, I'm pretty impressed.
Well, I did grow up in a more northern location, and I did play ice hockey on the local pond until the boys got much bigger.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I'm so proud of you that you know that.
There you go.
You know, the last
user-friendly Canadian friends.
The last few things I want to mention before I turn it over to Ambika and her fun astrological explanations of how each star sign can lend some tips and techniques and ideas for how you can promote yourself based on your star sign, is that never give up and fail often, fail fast, because that's how you'll get yourselves out there. And thank you very much for listening and for being here tonight. And for those of you watching the replay, be sure to send answers to Cinder. I will make sure that Cinder has the evaluation form with your chance to win bio. I will make sure that she has that when she sends out the replay. So make sure you get your chance in there. And thanks for being here. Ambika.
Oh, I thought you were going to read my bio.
Oh, your bio. Yes, I'm going to read your bio because I love your bio.
I thought you were going to introduce me properly.
Properly. Okay, well, I have to go back to this other screen where I have.
Well, Rusty's looking for that. Here's something else I want to add in to all of you. When you've got gigs where you've got an MC, this is your opportunity to give the MC a mini version of your bio. And it could be between 50 and 250 words. And when you're hearing that being read on stage, that's going to get you really revved up and pumped up and ready to get out there on stage. So this is another upcycling or repurposing of your core bio information. And it's really beautiful to put some energy into this, because as you hear that, it's just going to bring out an even more incredible performance from you.
Yes, it is, for sure. Thank you.
So we'll see how it works.
Great idea.
Mine.
All right. So, as an international award-winning author, an indie publisher of 3 books, and an expert astrologer, Ambika Devi is a riveting and dynamic speaker. She specializes in igniting your intuitive magic, expanding your creativity by showing you how to tap into the unified field of consciousness through the state of meditation, and introduces you to your inner wizard. Her pockets are filled with multiple degrees and fields of study, including a master's in yoga and meditation, and bachelor's degrees in astrology and fine arts. Stuffed inside her backpack are colored pens, a journal, a Kindle, a passport full of stamps, and a deck of tarot cards. Absorb her passion and be guided to find inner peace, outward success, and a greater level of health and happiness. She has appeared on the Learning Channel, network radio, and in periodicals as a relationship and communication expert. In addition, she has taught holistic health at the university level for 21 years and is a true guide on your forward journey to reach your highest potential. Welcome, Ambika.
Thank you so much. So I think you get a little taste of that. That got me revved up. So tonight, thank you for having me here, Musical Mamas, to allow me to sprinkle some stardust on your biocrafting. And this is really going to make it sparkle. Any member of the zodiac can be an absolutely superb writer. We're not leaving this only to the earthy sign of Virgo, who is notoriously given the hat tipping of being meticulous, or the fierceness of the fire sign Aries. We have to remember that within everybody's astrological chart, we all possess all of the planets and all 12 signs. So just because a sun sign is in a particular place, we're still drawing from other things. Each zodiac sign has an affiliation with particular characteristics. Now, when we pop open a newspaper or a magazine and we're reading horoscopes, we're usually thinking of our sun sign. That's the location of the sun on the day when we were born. But truly in astrology, in astrological terms, the sun sign is the descriptor of our ego. It's the ascendant or the rising sign that people first see. That's how we are perceived by the external world. So I encourage you to read your horoscope in this way, taking the information of your sun sign and also look at your ascendant. And if you do know your moon sign, and of course, if you came to me, I could tell you your entire chart and start to teach you about it. You can bring that moon sign into the mix because that gives an emotional connection to others. And so it's in that moon sign that we can get into more of a mystical place, or the unconscious or subconscious or psyches of our listeners or readers. All of this information is calculated utilizing accurate information of the date, the time, and the location of your birth. And it's interpreted by a skilled astrologer. Each sign has particular characteristics, and that word, characteristics, comes from an ancient Sanskrit word, karaka. How interesting. Karakas are the characteristics of all these different things, because in the ancient times, in the mystery schools of the Far East, astrology was one of the main tools being used. And psst, here's a secret. I suggest that you do pay attention to your sun sign and your ascendant. That's going to really supercharge things for you. Let's break it down into the elements. There's 4 elements in astrology, so 3 signs each. We're dealing with a unit of 12, and if math was not your favorite subject in school, don't worry, there's not going to be much more math involved in what I'm talking about tonight. Fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, you are notoriously known to be enthusiastic, and you have the ability to shine your light on any situation. You're swift and you're commanding. So use words that ignite your readers into knowing that you are vibrant and strong. You can be forceful. You can also be direct. Your tendency to exaggerate may need to be curbed a little bit, so have a friend go over everything before you call it complete. I'll tell you, Rusty and I go over each other's writings all the time, and we catch things, and it's really good to have a writing buddy or a writing coach for when you're writing something like a bio or anything that you're putting out there in public, especially posters. You know, it's those little mistakes that once we go to print, it can be really frustrating. So let me move on to the earth signs. Earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. These earth signs are seen to be stoic and stable, but remember, you're just as sensual as you are skilled. Be sure to use luscious words that really draw your readers in. Earth signs have a reputation for being stiff, so also be sure to cite your flexibility in your communication and your versatility in your repertoire. The air signs of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius are intellectual, quick, and can sometimes give too much information. So if you have air sign dominance in your chart, you might want to be sure that your points are easy to understand and that you're clearly giving solutions to the problems that the people who are hiring you want solved. You're the great communicators, and it's important that your cleverness is easy to understand. Focus on your knowledge and be sure to include emotions through your words so you don't come off too dry or detached. Water signs. You're full of emotions. These water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Be sure to balance the feelings out with fact. Water signs can get a little bit caught up in all the feeling descriptors, so it's important to speak from your heart, and one of your strengths is to be very personable, sympathetic, and caring. Play this up when it's appropriate. That would definitely come into play if you're communicating with people in sensitive situations for particular types of parties or organizations. Be sure, water signs, that you don't go overboard, as this can come off as fluffy or sappy. So always tap in and use your powerful intuition. Now I've got tips for each of the 12 signs. So I'll go right through it in order from Aries through Pisces. Aries knows herself and is able to go down paths no other could dream of or handle. So in your bio, if you're Aries dominant, show where you're unique and cite the manner in which you clear the way for others. You're bold and brave, so use this to your advantage in fiery words full of passion. Great Aries writer Maya Angelou did this fabulously. The sharp wit and humor of writer Tina Fey and protective nature of author Charlotte Bronte represent the ability of Taurus to roll up your sleeves and get your hands into the earthiness of situations. Speak about the beauty you create with your art. Use all 5 senses to represent the details of how you do this. Talk about your life experiences. As a natural storyteller, these capture the delight of your audience and win you lots and lots of fans. Gemini, you are swift and always on the move. Playful lyrics that whip around like gusts of wind are your specialty, with messages that break down communication into bite-sized thoughts. Use your storytelling skills to show that you can see both sides of any situation. Stevie Nicks displays this so well in her lyrics and in her ability to be her brand both on and off the stage. Your greatest attribute is your ability to be intuitive, Cancer. It's likely you're going to have more versions of your bio than any of the other signs. When you have your mind clear on the person who is going to be reading your bio, just be honest about the points you want to get across. Put what you have inside of yourself onto the page and let people love you for who you really are. Linda Ronstadt does this so well. Confidence is Leo's superpower. And this is demonstrated in the belief in self that J.K. Rowling demonstrated getting her first book, Harry Potter, written and finally picked up by a publisher. Madonna, who blazed many trails and never looked back. Make sure you're giving good content and not just tooting your own horn. Keep the communication in a comfortable bandwidth for the reader and show people how you can change their moods and change their lives through your craft. The linguistics of Virgo are beyond fascinating and full of detail, so go for it. Mary Shelley is a famous native of this sign. That should encourage you to add a bit of the fantastic to your bio. You have a very quick wit, so go ahead and highlight this. Once you get past the first line, you should find the words flowing from your pen. So why not start in the middle and write the beginning last? This is a really good point for any of us. We don't have to go linear. If you have an idea, get it down on the page, and then you can go back. So often when I write paragraphs, I write them in a particular order, and then when I leave it alone and go back and look at it, I find, wow, that sentence that was the end really makes a much more brilliant opening sentence. Getting back to the signs. Libras can charm with their words, and they have a talent for wanting balance. So I advise Libras, Don't worry about pleasing everybody. Your bio is your chance to please yourself. So let go of what other people are thinking and impress yourself with the highlights. If you get stuck, ask a friend to tell you in writing what they love about your music. This is going to give you a lot to choose from that you cannot deny. Famous Libra Julie Andrews keeps her poise and always does as she pleases, so you can too. Passion is the middle name of Scorpios, and intensity, their style. Scorpios, I want you to talk about what fuels you, how your art is your life's blood. Whoopi Goldberg shows the range of possibilities in her work, going from hilarious humor to a thought leader with a lot of heart. Show your range and fly like the eagle that you were born to be. Others are going to want to follow you, so be bold and tell the other side of the story. This is not the time for you to keep secrets. Sagittarius native Sinead O'Connor never asked permission to express her feelings, and neither should you, Sagittarius. Just write your message. Get more than you need down on paper. Take a break outside in nature. And later, when you come back, you're going to see everything fit in, just like puzzle pieces. Your superpower kicks in when you rise above situations and whatever you're doing, and you have a bird's eye view. So it's really important to take breaks and get up high, looking down on what's going on. Capricorns, you'll try to push and persevere through your bio writing due to your impeccable work ethic. I advise you to loosen up and work on your bio in little sittings. One sentence is a milestone that affords you a ticket to indulge in relaxation. You're a change maker, like native Patti Smith. Go ahead, take a few risks. The world will be a better place because of you. Diversity and humanitarianism. Oh, I'm cracking myself up. Diversity and humanitarianism is the birthright of Aquarius, and your ideas are absolutely revolutionary. This is because you're ruled by Uranus, who flies like no other planet in our solar system. Let your bio be unusual and unique. Choose one or two key points and match the rest of it to them. You have a propensity for being stubborn. Therefore, find examples of situations when you are comfortable with the opposite action of flexibility and highlight these. Pisces, you can let your imagination shine on the page. It's your birthright to be and feel connected, and your bio will do well to improve this. Pisces rules partnership, so let your words prove this. Drew Barrymore wrote insightful, funny, and profound stories about her life in the book Wildflower. I highly recommend having a look at this for inspiration. You, Pisces, are a born writer, so let the pen do the talking. I'm more than happy to take some questions about what I just shared with all of you, and I will be giving all of that to you, so you'll have that in written form. And Rusti, I'll let you introduce my giveaways if you like.
You'll have to correct me in some of the language, but you are giving away to the first two people who fill out the evaluation forms.
Okay, so do they know we're asking them to fill out evaluation forms for tonight?
We have an evaluation form that Cinder will be sending out with the video, so with the replay for this for the members. And for the first two people who fill out an evaluation form, Ambika is giving away an astrological art star chart. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm. So what I'll do is I'll take your natal astrology chart, your birth chart, and I'll make it on an arty background that I feel works for you, given your chart. And that will just be absolutely free. So to the first two people who finish their evaluations, they will get that. Now, in order to do that, I will need specific data. And so if you don't have the data, we'll have to give it to the next person. And that data is going to be included in what we send out to you. And what it is the month, day, and year of your birth, the time with the accurate hour and minutes, and then spelled correctly the location of your birth. And it's really helpful for me to have the town or the city, the state, the province, the country, and it's got to be spelled correctly so I can find it in my atlas and get the proper latitude and longitude. So that's all spelled out for you. And that will be a gift to the first two people who complete and hand in their evaluations. Ooh, Kelly's excited. And then I'm offering to every one of the musical mamas, and this goes for everybody listening to it in replay as well. I'm offering to tag on a free 30 minutes. That's a half hour of time to any 1 hour session purchased with me. So that's a huge savings. And that is all explained price-wise at my website, ambikaswisdom.com. And that link, of course, is going to be given to you. You'll be able to see on my two sites that I'm giving you links to distinctly different yet similar bios, opening bios. And know that Rusty and I are here to give you some feedback. And if in your astrological appointment with me, you want to talk about branding using your astrology for your bio or your musical production or relating. Now, here's another secret weapon we have. If we can find out the astrology of the people or the clubs or the places where you're trying to get a gig, I can even give you more information of how to tweak your bio or presentation or set list for that as well.
Yeah, Ambika is a master astrologer and been trained by, who was it that was Princess Diana's astrologer?
Yes. I studied relationship astrology with Penny Thornton,
Yeah.
and she was Princess Diana's astrologer for many years prior to Princess Di joining the royal family, because the royal family has their own team of astrologers. I'm going to unmute everybody now.
Yeah.
And we can have some Q&A. What do you think?
A Q&A, and then I'd love to hear some music from each of the musical mamas if they would take some turn. That would be fabulous.
Well, we may not be prepared much for the music, but it can always happen. Depending on how close we are to our instruments. But I certainly want to thank you both for bringing us all together here online. This has been a truly enlightening experience. And we have so much food for thought now. I think we're going to have a lot of motivation to go and tweak our promo writing bits and really dive deep into ourselves astrologically and just in the spirit of coming together to get excited about how we can make our words and self-promotion better, maybe a little empowered to go ahead and do so. I think I also really appreciate your generous offers to the musical mamas, and just being able to coordinate that is pretty huge. I think one question that I have with designing your when you're using your sign symbols, you don't want to, what if you want to kind of venture a little bit, maybe out of that zone? Would that be disastrous because you're not being authentic?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, remember, we all have all 12 signs in our charts.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. So you can use all of that information at any time and just be intuitive. The whole idea was to give
Kelly's cat.
I know, I see Kelly's cat. The whole idea of giving you some ideas with astrology is to just get your creative gears turning and get juicy so you can write. One of the most tragic things is having writer's block.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so this was an idea of Rusty's to call me in to do this, invite me in. And it's just a way to maybe spark some intuition and some creativity. Hey, it could be for songwriting or composition
Right.
creation,
For
you know,
sure.
it could be musical. It could have nothing to do with
Mhm.
bio writing, but when we're
Did you
setting out, I think, Rusty, don't you think it's the hardest person to write a bio about is ourselves?
Absolutely. When I started it, because I know the things that I want in it, or I know what to say about myself and how to say it. And then Ambika said she can help. And then Ambika did her bio. I thought it was pretty good, but I went and tweaked here and here and here and here. And she went, oh, thank goodness, this really proves that we really do need somebody else to look at it. And when Ambika was saying before to have somebody else look at it, those little errors that, you know, are only caught after it goes to print, there's something in the publishing world called the rule of three. You have 3 sets of eyes that are really good at finding those little errors before it goes to print. And then you're most of the time safe. Some things can still slide through, but if you've got 3 sets of eyes that are particular and persnickety like mine, you probably will be fine. And I see that Kelly put in, I love this, Kelly. I perceive creativity through beauty and darkness, imbuing a vision of sensual feminine abstracts with a splash of Gothic influence. Oh, I adore the deep shades of color as well as shape and a movement unique to each subject or piece. Wow.
That's
Wow. Kelly, what sun sign are you?
I'm a Leo.
Wow, and you brought darkness into the sun-ruled Leo. That's intense. That's, you know,
My
look.
moon sign is Cancer.
Wow, I think that's beautiful what you did, because there was a book I read years and years ago called In Praise of Shadows. And something I talk to my apprentices and students and clients about is that we can't just think of the sun hitting the mountain. We have to realize it creates shadow. And I think what you did in that bio is a perfect example of it.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, it really is beautiful.
Yeah, wonderful. All right, so I see maybe Jackie's getting ready for music and Shauna's maybe ready. Shauna's still tuning.
yeah.
Okay, I will get ready, but I'm not ready.
Okay, get ready. And Kelly, will your cat allow you to play your ukulele?
And I was thinking what Kelly said probably didn't come from a Taurus.
You Taurus, you Jackie, you and I were both
She was using some risque kind of language there.
Perfect combination of Leo and Cancer. It's really, she's nailing it. So I'm curious what everybody else's sun sign is. I'm a Scorpio.
A Virgo.
Virgo. I have a story about Virgo that's fun to tell in the circle of women, is that of all the Virgo men, of all the men that I dated, every Virgo always would ask what this scar was right here that's barely visible. Barely visible. But all the Virgo men would ask about that, the perfectionism in them. And it's a fun little story about how it butt heads with the baby goat. And one baby goat, I didn't calculate when the horns were coming out, or the horns came out early, and I hadn't stopped headbutting with it.
Okay, I've known you for a while and I've never noticed it. Shauna, what's your sign?
Me?
Yes, Shauna.
Oh, I'm Sagittarius.
Sagittarius, okay.
Oh.
And Jackie, what's your sign?
Taurus.
Taurus. And we've got Kelly's a Leo and Rusty's a Taurus.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Rusty.
I know.
When's your birthday?
April 21st. I'm right on the cusp.
24th for me.
Wow,
We had to actually double check. So that's the thing about a professional astrologer, can take it down to the minute. And if you have a second, you know, we can take it down to the second to see exactly where you are. And you know, people ask me, well, does time really matter? It does. And every space minute equals 4 minutes on Earth. So
wow, that's awesome.
yeah.
Interesting.
Shauna, are you ready?
Here, I'll unmute her.
My bird got really excited when she saw my guitar, so I thought I better not let her down.
All right.
Are you going to say this in blue?
You the rest of us so none of our sounds will interrupt you.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, are we ready? Okay. This song is called Tale of a Comet. Smile, my friend, though you may not remember it now. You sure know how. You're the light from the tail of the comet just come down. And I still remember you believe in heaven on earth, all this world. You're a light from the tail of the comet just come down. There you come again, you've landed on yourself. Here we are again, looking glass could tell. I long to know you well. Smile, my friend, though you may not remember it now. You sure know how. You're a light from the tail of a comet just come down. And I still remember you believed in heaven on earth, all is good. You're a light from the tail of a comet just come down. You fell silently, a stranger to your woman's eyes reveal reflections of a girl. I wonder where you were. Smile, my friend, though you may not remember it now. You sure know how. You're a light from the tail of a comet just come down. And I still remember you believed in heaven on earth, all is good. You're a light from the tail of a comet just come down. And you rise, my friend, when you find that rhythm again inside yourself. You're a light from the tail of a comet that's just come down. You're a light from the tail of a comet that's just come down. You're a light from the tail of a comet that's just come down. You're a light from the tail of a comet that's just come down.
That was amazing
All right.
Thank you.
Yay!
and astronomical.
That's awesome. Wow.
Thank you.
That's great. Who's next?
Jackie, you look like you were ready with your guitar. Did you want to go next?
I don't know how to hold this up. Hang on.
Yeah, a lot to juggle for sure. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah. Okay. As I ride on tonight, go down, and I see the lonely twinkling lights of town.
me somewhere I know. Looking for me high and looking low. Wanna live that life, it seems, is a waste without a dream. Looking for me somewhere. As the morning sun begins to rise, don't I go to bed and I close my eyes, and I think about the girl. She's out there in the world. She's looking for me somewhere. She's looking for me somewhere.
We have to unmute to clap.
Yay!
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh, thank you. Awesome. We get
Yes,
it.
well done. It's interesting when we play. Sometimes there's a bit of a delay. Sometimes it evens out pretty good, you know. And I think just pretty cool testing out this arrangement. It's like a new way of life, and all the more opportunities we got. I'm not sure where Kelly went.
I think well, Kelly had her ukulele, and I think she was.
Oh, there she be.
But no, this is better than not being able to share your music at all, even if
Yeah.
you have a lag. I mean, it was awesome to hear
Yes.
Jackie and Shauna. I remember liking your voice at that meeting I came to. It was awesome to hear it again. And thanks for showing me your parrot.
Got our pets. I got my
You
dogs.
guys probably saw her butt in front of the screen a couple times there.
Yeah, for sure.
Also,
Popping up and down.
everybody, because you have this gift of music, I really recommend getting a Zoom account, a free Zoom account. You can invite other people, and for 40 minutes, you can entertain them. You could go live on Facebook or YouTube. Share your music. People are going to get a little crazy and nuts from having to be in if it comes to this. So in the meantime, anything we can do to entertain and calm people down, and just ask for donation, you're going to build up a huge following because of this. No?
I totally agree. I already did sign up for Zoom and been really impressed. And before Rusty told me about it, I hadn't heard about it. So a much improved thing from Skype. I've used Skype before, but you can't. I think this has a lot more features and functions for it, and good
Absolutely.
packages that was offered. So definitely is now part of the works. So
Right.
Okay.
If there's questions, you
So
can always
are
Facebook.
we already on a Zoom account though, Cinder, now that we're at the meeting? Because I did have to.
we are on Ambika's Zoom account.
Oh, okay.
I offered to do this for all of you
Oh,
tonight.
thank you.
Yeah,
Right
this
on.
Part of my outreach to help everybody during this time. I've been spending the last 2 weeks helping groups and organizations get online, hosting things for them, so that people can start to get into the idea of, I don't have to go out to meet with my group, but I can still feel really connected. So I encourage all of you to consider taking that step also. And there's people like, I noticed Neil Young is giving a fireside concert on Facebook Live. Let's do things by donating our art, but also I encourage you, don't be afraid to have a donation button somewhere and let people give back to you.
Yeah, this
Because
is time
you'll
to
be
be kind
surprised.
and calm and be what people don't know that they need, and people will honor that. And
Build your mailing list. This
Yeah.
is an opportunity when you do stuff like this, have a mailing list button somewhere.
do you remember what Andrea said to us the other day about how these times of high stress and adrenaline cements things in long-term memory, which is why there's PTSD, right? But it being the voice of reason and calm and kindness and offering music to uplift people, you're also going to be planted in their long-term memory in a positive way, not a traumatic way. And so being able to offer your gift of music to people will get your name remembered. And when things return to a more familiar state of normal, whatever the new normal is going to be, then people will remember you then too.
I
Absolutely.
also thought Zoom was nice, a little bit more friendlier than Skype because you don't need an account to join and be part of the conversation.
Right. And boy, all you have to do is do a web search for any question and put the word Zoom and you'll find the answer with a less than 3-minute video. It's absolutely brilliant and easy. But again, if you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. And I'd like to hear some more music.
Yeah, I think Kelly's ready to go.
Ah.
All right, let's all mute. Let's
I
give
just
Kelly
wanted to
the
say, due to my husband's podcast Cinder, we subscribe to Zoom. So if you want to do Musical Mamas, we will just do that for you because I already pay for that.
Good to know. Yeah. Thank you so much, Kelly.
We can talk afterwards.
Sure.
I'm just going to do this work in progress. Please sing along. So unmute yourselves and sing along or play along. It's a Big Yellow Taxi by Joni Mitchell. In paradise, put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, boutique, swinging hot spot. Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you got till it's gone. They pay in paradise, put up a parking lot. They took all the trees, put them in a tree museum. Charge the people $1.50 just to see them. Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you got till it's gone. You pay in paradise, put up a parking lot. Hey, farmer, put away your DDT. Give me spots in my apples, leave me the birds and the bees. Please, don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you got till it's gone. In paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Late last night, heard the string door slam. And big yellow taxi join my homeland. Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you got till it's gone. They pay paradise, put up a parking lot. Yeah, they pay paradise, put up a parking lot. They pay paradise, put up a parking lot.
That's awesome, Kelly.
Way cool. Love the voice. That's awesome.
Well, I guess that leaves just me.
Go Cinder, go Cinder.
Saying,
Not just you.
just me.
All right. Good catch, Jackie. No, none of that self-deprecating stuff.
No. Yeah. Oh, did it again. Well, certainly we sure do appreciate things after they're gone. And then this little song might become more nostalgic than we know. But here it goes. hold on here. And now I have to start all over because, you know, got to warm up. I'm really a vocalist. I usually have others do this for me, but now I'll have to do more on my own. So I'll have some time to practice. Take 2. All my bags are packed. I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. Already I'm so lonesome I could die. So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. Leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. And that's all I'm gonna do, girls. There we go. Time to practice. Work out the kinks.
Yeah.
And let's join all together again, jam some more virtually or as we will outside our windows, maybe like the Italians did.
Yeah.
Next time I'll just do this little a cappella.
Yeah.
Jingle jangle for the wangle here on online.
Ah.
Much love and appreciation for all of you guys coming together here, and I don't know, I'm feeling really positive about things going forward, and I hope you are too. And let's spread that around and let everyone know. We'll have to do some cross promotion here and say, you know, Musical Mamas is going to go forward, and we will just meet online and get better and better at our videos. At the beginning of the year, I'd actually made a promise to myself just to post more videos and to actually type less for my posts on social media, and then fell off a little bit of that bandwagon when I was moving and my internet was down and didn't have the data feed to be able to do that. But I want to rise to that challenge and get a lot more proficient about doing video presentations and communications, because I think now if there's any time where we want to see a person's face, it is now, just to reconnect, even if it's through a picture or a video, you know. So I'm going to step up my challenge to myself and do some more postings on Musical Mamas. I mean, really, between the move and rebuilding the house and the last couple of months, I mean, I didn't even post anything for International Women's Day. And I can't remember the last time I haven't done that, not before Facebook. So it's been a while, and it was noted to me, but I think at the time I just needed to kind of bunker in and set up my home and feel in a good spot before I could go out there publicly in that way, and onward and upward. So thank you for your inspiration, ladies. Rusti, such really good concrete information shared, and it's very applicable to so many people's careers, regardless of musicianship. I think you made a really good and core uplifting, kind of put you on the road to start working on your bio in many levels. So thank you very much for all your efforts to do that. And Ambika, well, I'm just really intrigued. When my kids were born, I had their star charts done, and I'm not sure where mine went, but it was done a long time ago. So probably I'd be due to sort that out. And I've been known to, if I knew someone's birthday, try to ping their sign, so I knew how to communicate with them better. I might have done that earlier before I married the Gemini, but 20
One
years
thing,
ago,
one thing I encourage though is try to be
Mhm.
open to all the signs and remember that you have all 12 in you.
That's
Yeah,
right.
some can feel like a challenge, and that's okay. But we have to learn to embrace them
Yes.
because they're all inside of us. And yes, we do, depending on our charts, lean a little more heavily in certain directions. It's been such a joy. I'm so glad I could help you keep your meetings going and help you get online tonight. And I really hope to hear about your group getting bigger and bigger and meeting here. And please, when you're posting musical events that you're doing, especially through Facebook, tag Rusty and I in it, because we'd be more than happy to let that go on our walls and honor you. And that's here's a little secret trick. Don't tag in the main body of what you're writing, tag in the comment.
Ah, good
Because
point.
then your main writing is clean. So don't put your hashtags there either. Put your hashtags in a comment.
Oh, that's great. And
So if you do your hashtags in the first comment and then you list that you want the first comment to stay at the top, your hashtags will always be there, but they'll always be there aiming at it. So there's all kinds of little tricks, that we have for you, and we'd be happy to come back.
also, when you have a YouTube and you want somebody to watch a YouTube video that you post, make sure that they watch it from beginning to end. Otherwise, YouTube doesn't count it as a view. And so ask them if they're busy or if they have to walk away, just let it keep playing till it plays to the end. Otherwise, YouTube will not count it.
And remind your friends, they can listen, they can listen. They don't have to keep their eyes on it. They can just listen to the YouTube stream.
Play. Right.
Let them listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, and with Instagram, even your own comments counts as more interaction. Instagram watches that. And then if you ask people on Instagram to download what you have there, then that makes Instagram pay attention and they think, oh, that post is really interesting because people are downloading it and saving it. So that creates you more traction and more action and more attention from Instagram, where they will help then promote.
So if you want in the future, I'm offering, Rusty and I have teamed up as cross promoters and a team with each other. We're 2 pens for you. And if you'd like us to come back and talk about ideas, so we could do a Q&A if you want about cross promotion, and you can get deep inside of us about what we're doing and all our ideas. We'd love to come back and share it with you.
Oh, well, thank you very much. That's a very welcome offer indeed.
Right. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you all for playing a song for us. That was such a treat. Thank you.
I know, I felt like I should have had my ukulele tuned up.
Yeah.
Next time.
Next time, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But tonight it was all about you all playing the music. So we look forward to your online concerts.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
So if you want to continue chatting amongst yourself as that, I can mute and go off and do my own thing, and you can do that. But we can stop the recording. That's